Good evening, everyone. It's Joe Fanatic Sports back here again, and I'm doing my playoff predictions. Now, I bet you're wondering, why am I in a suit? I'm all dressed up. It's the playoffs. We got to get formal. I'm going to go by each game from the order they're played. So the first game that I want to get into is Seattle at San Francisco. It's going to be one of the easier games to talk about. San Francisco is going to win 31-17 in my opinion. San Francisco has the 7th best rushing offense. Seattle's the 30th best rushing defense. So Christian McCaffrey, Elijah Mitchell are literally just going to run all over everyone on the Seattle defense. It's honestly going to be scary to watch. Seattle's defense in general is just not good at all. They're 25th in scoring defense. And the 49ers are, ever since Brock Purdy came in the game, they've been averaging like 30 points a game. So it's kind of scary out there for Seattle to go up against Brock Purdy and crew in the playoffs, especially as a team that's kind of a miracle team. It really shouldn't be here, but they are. They played well this year, surprisingly, and here we are today. San Francisco defense can also easily stop Geno Smith. They have the best scoring defense, second best in yards allowed. They are 21st in passing yards allowed, but they make up for it by being second in rushing yards allowed. So Kenneth Walker, it's going to be really hard for you to really do anything. They also have the Defensive Player of the Year in Nick Bosa. Quote me on that. So it's going to be hard for Geno Smith and Kenneth Walker to really get anything going, especially on the ground game. And, the Seattle offensive line isn't great. Their PFF ranks are 17th run block and 20th in pass block. So Nick Bosa is literally just going to come off the edge and dominate Charles Cross. I feel bad for Charles Cross. He's going to be crying for his mother after this game. But, the Seattle Seahawks do have some stuff going for them. Their most efficient passing offense. Geno's has the highest completion percentage in the league. He's 6th in QBR, 12th in DVOA, and 9th in PFF passing. He's like a sleeper MVP pick. Obviously, he's not going to win it. Midway through the year, there was a chance, but here we are now. He's a great player nowadays. He's up for a contract extension after this year. Let's see what happens there. But this year's basically over. Geno, your miracle season's over. CMC is going to have a field day, and Kittle as well, because Seattle allows the most yards to a tight end at 69.24 a game. Sorry, Geno Smith. I love you. I love that, they tried to write you off, but you didn't write back. This is them writing you off again. Next, we have the Chargers at Jacksonville, and if you want more on this, go check out my video. There will be a card right there. I have the Jaguars winning 20-17. Check out my most recent video to watch more about this. Trevor and the Jags offense are basically just so coherent and clean with Doug Peterson at the helm that I just don't see the Chargers defense really being able to do much about it in this 20-17 win in Jacksonville. ETN could have a field day against a bottom 5 rushing defense. He did run for over 1,100 yards this year as basically a rookie coming off a pretty serious injury. The Jags are top 10 in yards allowed, and LA, or yards per attempt, my apologies, in rushing, and LA is last in yards per attempt allowed on rushing. So yeah, ETN can literally basically do whatever he wants, and hey, Trevor's shown at times that he can run the ball as well when he doesn't fumble, which he actually does kind of have a fumbling problem, not like Daniel Jones' first couple years problem, but it's not great. He's really got to figure it out. I remember that Philly game. I know it was wet and all that, but I had him in fantasy. He fumbled 4 times. I think he fumbled 5, but recovered 1. The Jags D is kind of like middle of the pack, but they're pretty decent at run defense, and Tyson Campbell is a stud, and he can do well against Keenan Allen, and Mike Williams did just get hurt, so that definitely does not help them. And yeah, the Jags also beat them 38-10 in week 3 in Los Angeles, so that has something to say now that they're behind their home crowd, not that Jacksonville has the best home field advantage in the league, but hey, they have a pool. That's pretty cool. Rhymes. I'm a rapper, guys. But yeah, I don't really see this going well for the Chargers due to the Mike Williams injury, especially. That does not help at all. J.C. Jackson's been out for the whole year. Not that he was really the best at the time for them, but, he's still a piece that you want to play for you. So yeah, 2017 Jaguars W. If you want more on this, check out the last video. Next, we have the Giants at Vikings. I actually have the Giants upsetting Minnesota 24-21. They nearly beat them back in Minnesota in Week 16, but, late game heroics from the Vikings went well for them. Cousins played well in that game. He had 3 touchdowns, 299 yards, but the game was at 1 o'clock, so, that's a huge thing. I actually don't know the time of this one. I think it might be at 4:30. definitely is at 4:30 because it's a Sunday game. But, Cousins in big moments has not really been that great, except for when that Kyle Rudolph fade touchdown to beat the Saints a couple years back. I just don't see the Vikings coming out of this game. Besides 2 wins, every win of theirs was a one-score game. They are the only 13-win team in NFL history to have a negative point differential at -3. So I think it is safe to say the Vikings are going to be the playoff chokers. They're going to be the Packers of this year. And it's funny because they're also from the NFC North. So, yeah, that's great to see. I don't really like the Vikings that much. I don't have a problem with them. Sorry, Tom. But, I just don't like Kirk Cousins too much. I love Jay Jettis and TJ Hawkinson, but I don't know. I don't like teams that you can tell are basically fake. I mean, if they go on a run, whatever. But I actually think the Giants could go on a surprising run throughout this playoffs. I think they can make the NFC Championship game if all things go well. Next, we have a very easy game. Ravens-Bengals. Bengals 34-20. It's not going to be close, in my opinion. The score is only a 2-score game, but it's going to look a lot worse than that. The Ravens are just banged up. Lamar hasn't played in a while. He'll be coming off that injury, probably. And the Bengals haven't lost since October. I don't have, a legit football take on this game. Excuse me. But this is all I got, man. It's not going to be close. Ravens are going to lose to the Bengals 34-20. Lamar still has no one to throw to, as we all know. Their defense has been pretty mediocre. Their running defense has been pretty good, but their passing defense has not been great. Marlon Humphrey is having a down year, but he's still a good corner. Marcus Peters has been on the downfall for a couple years now. Marcus Williams, when healthy, was a great safety for them, but, he's been injured here and there. Kyle Hamilton just can't create turnovers. He's all over the field, just can't create turnovers. But I just don't see a way that Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, Tyler Boyd, Joe Mixon, Joe Burrow, and even Hayden Hurst a little bit lose this game. They have too much offensive firepower for the Ravens to handle, and their defense isn't atrocious. So, yeah, Bengals 34-20. I really don't have a legit football take about this one because I just think it's a pretty obvious game to call. Hey, if the Ravens win, good for them, but I think this will be the offseason where they have to blow it up. Cowboys-Bucks. I don't like this game at all, actually. I genuinely do not like this game at all. I don't see how you could. I have the Cowboys winning 17-14. It's a week 1 revenge game for Dak. Tom and the offense have really not been great all year, as we all know. The defense has been okay at times, pretty good at times, actually, but also other times not. They struggled against a great Dallas defense in week 1, and now they are playing in the playoffs in Dallas. That's not a good recipe for success for Tom Brady. It is Tom Brady, though. He's the best player in the playoffs of all time, except for Eli Manning and Joe Flacco in that playoff run, except we don't like Eli Manning here in the town next to Gillette Stadium. Also, rest in peace, Patriots this year. Traded for DeAndre Hopkins or someone, please, God. Where even was I, man? I just got upset. Anyways, this struggling offense, horrible run game the Buccaneers have. I just don't think they can do much against this Cowboys' insane defense. But the reason I have it so close is because Dak could literally lose this game by himself. In 12 games, what we thought to be an elite quarterback, Dak Prescott has thrown 15 interceptions. He is tied for the league lead with, I believe it is Davis Mills. I don't have the numbers right up in front of me. But if you are tied for the league lead with potentially Davis Mills, or just have the lead by yourself, that's embarrassing because you're supposed to be a top 10, top 12 quarterback in the league. You have struggled all year when you were healthy. Cooper Rush statistically played better than you, but we all know that Dak is better for the team. And Dak could lose in this game. That's why it is such a close game. While the defense will play well, he could literally just throw the ball right to Levante David or Devin White or anyone's hands, Antoine Winfield, whoever just wants to catch a ball that will be horribly thrown, horrible decision at some point. He's not going to go turnoverless in this game. I would, if I was a betting man, I used to be, I quit though, thank God. I would bet on a Dak Prescott turnover at some point in this game. But the reason I do have them winning is that defense, but also the run game. They have the 8th best rushing offense, and Tampa's 15th in rushing defense. It's hard to stop an 1,000-yard rusher in Tony Pollard and a former elite running back, and someone who had a touchdown in 9 straight games in Ezekiel Elliott. It's going to be really hard to stop that rushing offense with Tony Pollard's explosiveness, Ezekiel Elliott's ground and pound type of game, especially in the red zone. And, Tony Pollard's also good out of the backfield in receiving, so stopping those running backs is going to be the hardest thing for them. CeeDee Lamb's also an elite wide receiver. I think we've seen that this year, especially towards the tail end of the year. If you had him in the fantasy playoffs, which I did, but I lost first round, good for you because he was insane in the playoffs. But I just don't think there's a way where Tom Brady, Leonard Fournette, especially that running game, can really come out of this game alive. This will probably send Tom into retirement or to Las Vegas or to New England, even though I don't really want that. I want Mac. No offense, Tom. You are better than Mac, but still, I want Mac because he's younger. So he's either going to go to Vegas and basically, do what people in Vegas do because he's now a single middle-aged man, or he's going to retire and figure out his life. Sorry, Tom. I love you, but this is your last game as a Buccaneer. That's basically all I got, guys. Some of these games you really don't need legit football takes for, like the Ravens-Bengals. That's just an obvious Bengals win. The Giants game is going to be my favorite one to watch. I like battles like that between like a defensive team and an offensive team. The Vikings defense is terrible. So if I were to pick one game, if I could only watch one game this weekend, yeah, I'd say it'd probably have to be that or the Chargers-Jaguars, because I feel like those two will be the most entertaining games to watch. There will be some points scored. It won't just be like a slugfest, like where it's like turnovers and turnovers, like how I think the Dallas and Tampa Bay game will go, or like a blowout like the Seattle-San Francisco or the Baltimore-Cincinnati game. I think those two games would be the two games I would love to watch. I want to see the Jaguars go far. I want to see the Giants go far. My take on them is not just because I like them. It's because I genuinely think that they are good teams that could outplay their opponent this weekend. If you guys like this video, subscribe to the channel. And with all that being said, that's actually not going to be all it is for me today, guys. I forgot to talk about the Bills and Dolphins because I'm stupid. So, yeah, Bills by 20. Tua's probably not going to play. I hope he doesn't. Dolphins are smart. They won't play him. So, yeah, I forgot. Sorry, but moving on. This is Joe, Fanatic Sports, trying to do his signature football flip with one hand, and he's not a lefty. Signing off.